Jay Paterno was very emotional coming off the bus, and he was emotional on ESPN after the game. Were you concerned at all about how he would be able to handle his new tasks, being down the field, and how he would react to his father not being there today?
I was. I met with Jay in the back at the last football building before the game. I walked into the office. I wanted to make sure he was okay with what I was asking him to do, and he said he was ready to go, so I didn't worry about him. I think he had prepared well for the game. I knew it was going to be extremely emotional for him, and especially when I asked him to come down on the sideline, he was in for a very emotional day, but I thought he did a great job today, and I appreciate the way he prepared for the game in spite of everything.
Can you describe your emotions today?
Let's talk football first, because if you get me into the emotion discussion, I'm going to have trouble. No, I think the thing Joe has always taught us is you can only control the things you can control. And once I rode the bus over with a team, first time I've done that since I've been back. And once I got off the bus, I was kind of locked in. And one of the things Joe's always taught us is, we have a blue line in our practice field. When you cross the blue line, you can only control what you're doing there. So I couldn't really let the emotions get the better of me. When the game was over, obviously I got caught up a little bit. But
how tough was that, Jay, for you to try and even maintain through that?
Well, that's the way he's trained us. He's trained us to be professionals, and you don't lose those. You don't lose those lessons quickly. Those are things that stay with you the rest of your life. I've talked to guys that haven't played for Joe in 35 years, and they still talk about focusing and the blue line and all that kind of stuff. I talked to Todd Blackledge, and he still says that blue line's still out there in the practice field. And so it's just the way you live your life. And, so we had to focus.
Tell us about the white coat.
Oh, well, it was a little chilly. It was actually chillier when I went in than when it came out. So
Was that really from the 324 game?
I don't know. It was in his closet, so I took it. I'm dead serious. And then Shane McGregor said something to me on Thursday. He said, "Hey, isn't that the coat he wore against Ohio State?" I said, "I don't know. It was in the closet."
The fact that it was his coat, though?
Yeah, it was just a little symbolic.
Jay, this was the first game since 1949. Your dad wasn't part of the Penn State coaches. Did you talk to him this morning? What did he tell you? Did he watch the game?
I stopped by the house this morning, dropped off a letter, and that was the extent of it. I didn't want to spend a lot of time over there because it was going to be tough for him. It was going to be tough for me. So I dropped the letter off, and I said, "Don't read it yet. Let me get the hell out of here before you read that, because I don't want."
What'd you tell him?
A lot of things. One of the things some of which I don't want to share, but one of the things I told him, I said, "You and I, through my life, haven't always seen eye to eye, but generally it's because I had to grow up to catch up and make eye contact with you, and it's there are a lot of lessons I've learned from him." And the letter was to my mom and dad.
How hard do you think this day was for him? First time in 62 years he's not here.
Who knows? Maybe he's out cutting the grass. I doubt it. But no, we can't now. There's 800 media cameras.
Jay, was your mother at the game? Did she come to the game?
I don't know. So if I told you one way or the other, I couldn't tell you.
Did he say he was going to watch it on TV?
He planned it. He wanted to watch it on TV because he wanted to make sure that the guys he coached and the guys he felt very close to would understand that he was part of this. And, he still wanted to be part of this, and that he was pulling for them and cheering for them. So yeah, he definitely.
Is that why you got emotional at the end of the interview, because you knew that maybe he was watching at home?
Well, if you saw me break down like I did, I'm probably going to hear about it for the rest of my life. So I hope he wasn't watching. I hope he doesn't get to see it.
After that happened Wednesday night, did you even go back to work for a couple of days, or did you take time off?
I didn't sleep at all Wednesday night because it was a roller coaster of emotions. Because he told he was going to retire, and then so at least you felt like you were going to have that time with him, and then that changed on Wednesday night, obviously. And I can't really get into any of the specifics on that because I don't know. But I think that I didn't sleep Wednesday night, and then Thursday I came in, and it was no change.
How hard was it to walk into that building Thursday though, the first time since?
It was tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was tough.
How was he? I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was tough, but
How was he doing this morning?
I really didn't talk to him because I just handed a letter to my sister and said, "I'm out of here." So because I really had to get myself prepped to focus and not be emotional for this game.
Jay, I know it's not on the top of your mind, but have you given any thought to how his situation maybe affects yours? Maybe this is your last time here coaching at Beaver Stadium.
Every year that the season's ended and we've been in Beaver Stadium, I've always thought it might be my last one, because you never know. Things change. You could get hit by a bus. You could change jobs. So I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about it. So I might think about it tonight, but we'll see. I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
Would you like to be considered the one that replace him?
You're way ahead of that one on that one. I just wanted to coach the next couple of games. We're still in first place in the Big Ten. We still got a lot of things we can do this year, and whatever happens after, hopefully the Rose Bowl trip in January, I'll worry about that then.
How much chaos was there today with being on the sideline? You're not used to being down there.
It wasn't too bad. I mean, we had one or two in the first half. We had a little bit of a screw up, but generally we were pretty good. So I think that worked out all right. And whether we do that going forward or not, we'll see.
Have you ever called plays family? Have you called plays before?
Oh yeah, I've called play. I mean
on the side from the side.
Not really. I mean, the last time I was in Sideline was at UConn up in Rhode Island. Not exactly 100,000 people at that game, but yeah, I was involved in some of that.
Are members of your family or Joe angry or mad or frustrated after 61 years he gets fired?
I don't want to speak to their emotions. I mean, I really don't want to get into that.
Was there any members of your family here besides you?
Like I said, well, my wife was here, my son was here, but my sister was in town. I don't know. Like I said, I handed the letter off and got out of the house. I didn't ask what they were doing.
What's your opinion on the way the Board of Trustees handled this? I don't want the family. I'm asking you.
I know. I gotta be very careful here, guys, because of the fact that there is still an ongoing. There's a lot of legal issues still ongoing as it relates to the situation. So I think for me to get into that would be premature, and really I've been advised I shouldn't get into those kind of things. I think the most important thing that we've tried to focus as it relates to that whole thing is that for us to say something and talk out of class, we can't do that because there is a legal process going on, and we have to make sure that justice is done for the victims. Those are the people we're thinking about. Those are the people we're praying for. So I don't want to get into any off-topic things like that.
Who advised you?
Who advised me?
Yeah, in terms of not speaking.
I'm just that intelligent.
Jay, there are a lot of people who think that this will destroy your dad. I mean, because he's always been football. How do you think it's going to affect going forward?
We'll see. I mean, it's one of those things we have to see what happens. I had my grandkids. Well, not my grandkids. His grandkids. Jeez, my kids over there for dinner Thursday night, and he actually was okay with it. I thought he'd be like, "Get them that, out of here." So I think
the kids not okay with. I mean, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll see. And I think he'll find another challenge.
Jay, not to go into the detail of the board's decision, but would you prefer if he was given an opportunity to come here, to say goodbye, to retire on what he had planned?
I mean, I'd prefer he coach another 20 years. I mean, so that's
instead of the alternative.
How upset were you when he got fired on a phone call?
Well, I didn't know that right off the bat, but I don't know all the specifics or why, so I can't really
Last question.
I mean, I know.
When did you get to talk to Mike McQuarrie last?
Tom called him. We called him in the locker room before the game.
Today.
Yeah, and Tom got him, and then the cell phone, as you guys know, the cell phone in the stadium is not exactly stellar. No offense to our corporate sponsor AT&T, although they probably don't want me to say that now. But the cell phone service was a little spotty, so we kind of lost him.
Jay, was there ever a concern that maybe this game wouldn't be played? And do you think, what's your thoughts on the people who say maybe it shouldn't have been played?
People have strong feelings about everything, and this is a very, very tough issue. Obviously, you're talking about some horrific things, so I understand why they would feel that way. I really do, but I think there's also another side to it, and I think it was good that it was played. I think what the two teams did before the game was very moving. I thought that was fantastic, and hopefully that some of that positive energy flows out to the victims, because that's obviously what this is really all about.
Who initiated that?
Concentrate on the sideline, or was it easy for you to just tune everything out and concentrate?
Once I got going, I was fine. Some people in the stands might not think that, but once I got going, I think we were okay.
Jay, who initiated the prayer? Who was the first person to say that we should?
I'm not sure. I found, there was some discussion I found out about this morning, so I don't know how that started.
Last question for Jay.
When you woke up today, were you like, I don't, was any of that like, I don't really want to go to this,
No, not at all. When I went over to, it's probably well documented because there's cameras there 24 hours a day, but when I went over to Joe's house Thursday morning about 6:15, 6:30, and I said to him, I said, what do you think? He goes, well, you owe it to your kids, you owe it to Penn State, and that's how I raised you, and that's the approach.
You mean
I
you
took.
ask him if you should keep coaching?
No, and I didn't even get to ask. I said, boy, I just, I was, I'm not happy. I mean, I was sad. I mean, it was just, emotional, like you get when things like this happen, and all around, it's an emotional week because all the people you're talking about in this entire thing are some of whom I've known since I was born. So it was emotional all around, and I just hope that that when it all comes down, that justice is done for and that, like I said, that the victims.
Jay, how would you say he's doing?
Fine. He's been, he's as well as it could be expected, I guess. But he's doing well.
As a father, Jay, how hard is it as a father to hear all these allegations?
Well, there really aren't any allegations, against Joe. But so it's just.
No, but you being a father and hearing some of the things that have come out against young children.
Well, I mean, it's a horrific thing. You just don't want that to happen to anybody. And we all feel that way. And there's not a person in America that doesn't feel that way. And so, yeah, it's tough to hear those things. But, like I said, it's not my call. I'm not the Attorney General, and they've got to handle those things. And we just hope that justice is done and the victims receive some peace of mind at some point.
Do you think Penn State can recover from this thing? I mean, in the long run, how long is it going to take?
I don't know. I think it's time heals all wounds. And obviously, that I think that's one of those things that's going to take some time. One more.
What was your father's message to the players?
You mean on Wednesday?
He wrote a letter.
The last time that he's talked to you.
In the letter that
He wrote a letter.
Contact the letter?
Oh, I had left the locker room before they read the letter to go out, so I did not hear it. I did not hear it. So.
Did they read it right before the game?
I'm assuming. I mean, I left pretty early, so I got guys. I got to go.
Jay, did you hear any talk of them going to visit him? Game ball or anything?
I have, like I said, when I came back in the locker room, I had to go. Well, I don't want to tell you what I had to do because.
Did you say that after the game you tried to reach out to your dad, but we couldn't hear very well back here, but that the cell connection?
No, that we were talking. We tried to talk to Mike McQuarrie before the game, because obviously he's been a member of our staff, and we wanted to reach out. Tom Bradley called him, and we were going to get on the phone and talk to him. I'm walking home now, so do not follow me, please.
Did your dad watch the game today?
Yeah, it was his plan. Now, I haven't talked to him since the game started, so I don't know. So thanks, guys. I got to run.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Handwritten letter?
Pardon?
Handwritten letter?
Whose?
The letter. Joe.
I didn't see it.
How about yours?
Mine was.
Coach, can you talk about your emotional state in this? I know you talked about it already. How are you feeling right now? Talk about
Guys, I got to go.
Jay, how's your dad doing? How's his weight?